Well, this week, KHON2 will present Ike Kupuna, which will feature stories of those who have made a big difference in our community. Kathy Muneno is profiling them and is sharing their triumphs and tribulations. She joins us now with a preview. Good morning, Kathy. Nice to see you again.
Good morning, Christine. It's so nice to see you. Miss you guys.
We miss you too. Now, you have done a fabulous job on profiling these people. Can you tell us about the Aikhaus and who you talked to and what we can expect?
Yeah, you know, I've been wanting to do this interview for a long time. Clyde, Myra, and Solomon Aikhau, Eddie Aikhau's siblings, and because they worked so hard to continue Eddie's legacy and make sure it lives on. They are all such a close family. My cat is coming in here. They're such a close family, and it's something that they tell the stories, and you'll crack up to the stories of growing up and how they were raised. You'll understand why they have such a love for each other to this day. They call each other all the time, but also why they're so happy to carry on Eddie's legacy. And so there's some stories in there, including, you know, I asked, of course, Clyde if he would surf the Eddie again. And so you'll have to hear that answer tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Can't wait for his answer. Now, you also went to Hilo for one of your stories.
I did. This is another one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it wasn't easy to get Jim Kawahikawa to say okay to being featured because he's such a humble Hawaiian man, and he is the first Native Hawaiian scientist in charge at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. And his tenure was more than twice as long as most. He was born and raised here on Oahu, and but what I found out while I was there talking to him and his wife is that he also, even before being scientist in charge for more than 10 years, he had stage 4 cancer. And he has overcome that. As he says, you never get rid of it. But he's still going strong. People will recognize him from when every time there's a lava flow or an eruption. During the 2018 lava flow, he was there, the face of HVO with the ponytail and his beard. But very humble man with quite a story to tell. And it's beautiful to listen to him talk because he goes in and out of the very science side and his very Hawaiian side. And I so enjoyed talking to him.
And Kathy, we've enjoyed your little previews that we've been sharing on Wake Up Today all this week, but there's one in particular that I really am looking forward to because it seems so inspiring. The first group of women who paddled the Kaiwi Channel. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh my gosh. See, I get chicken skin just listening to you talk about it. So, and this is a story I didn't know either until fairly recently, but there's Hanny Anderson and 2 other women. And in 1954, which is 2 years after the men's Molokai Hoi started, they hitched a ride to Molokai because they were paddlers, they were ocean women, and they knew they could do it too. But they couldn't find the support. And it took more than 20 years before this other group of women joined in the effort, and then they were able to cruise, and this was an unofficial race, although there were officials on boats nearby. One of them was Hanny. Anyway, they did the first race. That was in '75, and then it took another 4 years before the first Nawahine o Kekai, and there were 16 crews in that one. But the whole story and Hanny's legacy, because she was race director for Nawahine for like 40 years. And then there's Carlene Ornelas, who I also feature because she has been there along the whole way, and she's now president. Anyway, I don't want to tell you everything, which I think I already did. But there's so much more to the story, and we talk to the younger generations as well. So I hope you guys will tune in. It's tomorrow night, 9:30. on KHON2, and there will be rebroadcasts, but we hope you'll tune in tomorrow night.
Yes, again, tomorrow night, 9:30, Ike Kupuna. Kathy has been working very hard. And Kathy, you're just one of the few people, good storytellers. You have a way with getting to know people and sharing their stories. So we thank you for working on this. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, Christine, thank you so much. It was an honor to speak with all of them.
All right, you stay
Thanks
safe,
for having
Kathy.
me.
Thanks for joining us.